Hey y'all, welcome back to another video. Today we are reading confessions that you guys have confessed on the Google Docs that I put on my Instagram story. There's not much else to say except let's get into the video. Hey y'all, it's Editor Chan here. I just wanted to say, let's not try and find out who these confessions are from. I have a very small audience and it's probably all people that I know from back home or from school. Let's not try and figure out who these confessions are from. They are anonymous for a reason and we're gonna keep them anonymous. So let's just all enjoy the stories. Alright, and back to the video. I have a crush on someone in 9th grade. I'm in grade 12.
Bombastic side eye.
Yes, see, I have lots of... It's giving predator riz. Like, girl, you're 18. You're 18, those are like what, 14-year-olds? Get a grip. Also, just like a hot tip for my 9th graders, 10th graders, if some grade 12 is hitting on you, it's probably because they're either a player or a red flag, and you should run the other way. Someone once said to me, if your grades don't touch, neither do you. And I stand by that. I used to e-date when I was 12 years old, and my first boyfriend, if you can even call it that, had a 17-hour time difference, and the relationship lasted like 3 days. My second one was quite literally the weirdest person I've ever met. One of those dream stands, LOL.
Child. Anyway, so.
And my third was the fruitiest man alive. Was so annoying, he drove me to insanity, and I ended up in the hospital for some interesting reasons relating to him. You can't just drop that and be like, cool, so yeah, I was in the hospital, but like, that's not important. I'm gonna need some more background information here. I'm gonna need some context. Why were you in the hospital? You could be in the hospital for so many reasons. My overthinking brain right now is going a little crazy because I'm like, in my head it's just like listing a bunch of reasons why you could end up in the hospital because of some man. If you know what I mean. Basically, moral of the story is don't e-date when you're 12 years old. This is one of my most embarrassing stories that I have. For context, it happened a couple years ago when I was in 10th grade during lunch break. Basically, I knew I was going to get my period that day because I had a lot of symptoms and my period tracker notified me. At the start of lunch break, I checked my pad to see if it had started yet, and it hadn't. But unknowingly, when I was sitting down on one of the benches in the caf, I got my period. When I stood up to leave the table, I heard a loud gasp from behind me. I abruptly turned around and saw my crush and a few of his friends standing behind me, and they were staring at the exact place on the bench seat where I had just stood up from. I looked down, and to my horror, there was a huge smear of blood in the shape of my butt cheeks, covering the entire surface of the bench where I was just sitting. My eyes flew back to my crush's face, and to make matters worse, his hand was covering over his mouth, and his eyes were wide open in shock and horror. I sat my butt down in the same spot where the smear was, and I told my friend, who was thankfully sitting next to me, to go get some paper towels from the girls' bathroom. To sum up the story, me and my friend cleaned up the blood on the seat, and I flew to the washroom to call my mom to bring me new pairs of pants and underwear. We've all been there. I got my period the day of the Olivia Rodrigo concert that I was supposed to go to and had a cute outfit on. My pants were like cute beige, like light beige pants, and I bled through them. It was awful, and my dad had to come get me new pants and new underwear as well. Every girl's been there. It's okay. The worst part is that your crush saw it, but you know what? He's probably not worth it anyways. But in honesty, I feel bad for you. I would be so embarrassed, but I'm pretty sure no one remembers the story anyway, so you're good. I dated a guy that I found on Omegle once. Ended up being really not attractive. Yeah, don't do that. What is up with everyone e-dating and like online dating, bro? Don't do it. If they're on like Tinder and stuff, they're probably not that cool, not that good. They're desperate for anything. Wait, how would you know that? Wouldn't you know that they're not attractive though? Because you're like, oh, I guess it could be the chat version. Don't go on Omegle, guys. It's dangerous. Okay, so basically I have this friend for 3 years now, but recently she has become toxic. And one day is acting all nice, and then the next she will shout at me for no reason. This usually happens when I hang out with my bestie of 11 years and the toxic friend gets annoyed that we hang out together, which I find weird because we've been best friends since we were 4. I don't really know how to deal with this, and I know this isn't a juicy story, but more of a I need advice type thing. Anyways, I love you so much. I love you too. Yeah, I think you should just cut her out of your life. We don't need toxic people in our lives anymore. I'm a strong believer that people come into your life and leave your life for a reason. Whether it's to help you learn a lesson or something else, there's always a reason behind it. It's 2023. We don't need toxic relationships, whether it's a romantic relationship or platonic relationship. We don't need those anymore, and it's okay to say no to them and leave them in the past. So that would be my advice, is just, you don't have to be rude to them, you don't have to be mean to them, but, maybe distance yourself a little bit. Or you can talk to them about it, set boundaries, be like, hey, you're not my only friend. Obviously, not in that tone and not in that way, in a more respectful way, but, basically something like that. I hope your friendship is okay. And we'll move on to the next story. My confession is that I feel like I have to often mask myself because I feel like my problems are too much for other people. Girl, that's not confession. That's depression. I'm kidding. It's a joke. You know what? I feel this a lot, actually. I recently learned that people who often check in on their friends are people who are struggling the most. Whether it's because they don't want people that they love to feel the way they feel, or because they lack control in their own lives, so they try to control it in other places. Let's just all take a moment to remember that we should check in on our friends and ask how they're doing, even if they seem like they're completely fine, because we don't know what goes on behind closed doors. To the person who confessed this, I'm so sorry you feel that way. We've all been there, I promise you. My advice to you would be talking to a trusted friend, adult, parent, or talk to a therapist, because we all should once in a while. One time I orgasmed and I don't know if I squirted or if I peed or both. Here's the juicy stuff, quite literally. I'm going to assume that you're a girl, because I feel like for guys it's pretty clear when you're pissing and when you're finishing. But I did learn actually that when women orgasm, it does feel a lot like they're peeing, but not necessarily peeing. It's kind of that buildup that feels like a pee, and then when you release, it's not really like you're peeing, but more like a feeling that like kind of washes over you. That's just what I've heard from other people. But if you did squirt, good for you, because a very small percentage of women can do that actually, just naturally. So you're a lucky one. A guy once confessed his love to me when he was crossed. Then he confessed again when he was sober. Bro, he just really likes you. If he has the same confidence to tell you that he likes you sober as he did when he was drunk, good for you. I hope you guys are together. I didn't get really much context after this, but send me an update if you have one. Maybe this is a really old story, but all I can say is he really liked you. I told my mom I got sexually assaulted by her brother, and she still makes me see him to this day. Bitch, what the fuck? Girl, why are you confessing this to me? You should confess this to your therapist. Sometimes parents don't understand that their kids have boundaries too, and you shouldn't cross those boundaries, or you shouldn't make your kids cross those boundaries. It's really tough, especially with like a parent-child relationship, trying not to blur those lines between setting a boundary and, telling them they shouldn't cross that, but also respecting them at the same time. It's hard, it's rough, but this is something that's absolutely not okay. I'm so sorry that you still have to see your mother's brother. You should not have to go through that. You should press criminal charges, actually. That man should be locked up in jail, actually. Absolutely not. I'm seriously so sorry. I am... I got 2 different hickeys from 2 different guys in one night. This was separate hangouts, by the way, not a threesome. Then both of them asked me to show it by the end of the night, and I chose the better looking hickey and snapped it to both of them saying it was theirs. I can't imagine the guy who did the worst job just sitting there being like, yeah, that was me, I did that, oh yeah, but it was a total lie. Girl, you bold for this. You so bold. You better not let them find out, girl. You're gonna get jumped so quickly. But absolute slay, I guess. And that is the end of this video. I hope you guys enjoyed. I think I need to send some of y'all a therapist for these confessions. I still have a ton of these to read, so I'm gonna finish it for next Tuesday's video. So stay tuned for that. I'll see you guys next week. Bye!
Cold feet, winter drives me wild.